Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And at first, I wanted to make a crypto video about the crypto prices right freaking now because there's a crazy amount of volatility in the space. However, there's a couple of pieces of crypto news that just came out that I had to share. It's about to get really juicy up in the crypto space, billions of dollars, millions of people, and lots of trouble. So without further ado, let's dive right into our first subject, and again, I think this is going to be a very interesting video. Famous YouTuber and trader Ben Armstrong bringing a class action lawsuit against Celsius and its CEO. And this is coming a little bit after the SEC has also signed that they're going for an investigation into Celsius and a couple of other apps. But BitBoy basically went pretty hefty over on Twitter, calling them out. Before I get distracted though, there's a couple of things I briefly want to say. Billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller says he would rather own Bitcoin as the recession beckons. A specific vague tweet from the founder of a very big capital, an influential hedge fund that has been liquidating crypto holdings as prices plummet, is stirring fresh apprehension in an already shaken industry. Quote, "We're in the process of communicating with relevant parties and fully committed to working this out." Owning a large portion of Grayscale and whatnot, and apparently they're pointing towards more crypto pain. Bill Gates is still negative towards crypto, which we already anticipated. Again, he said it's based upon the greater fool theory. On the other end, institutional investors remain interested in crypto after the recent out. It's not changing, even though some articles are giving you this very negative narrative. At the end of the day, people are still very much interested. And there's also one thing that I often say, right? The more negative it looks, the more bullish you should get. Because the moment that all hope is lost, the moment that you think you should sell, the moment that you finally give up after so many months of torture, is when you start to basically see the prices go up like crazy. The moment you capitulate, the moment you give up, is when the crypto market starts to go absolutely ape bullocks. So yeah, watch out for that. And apparently Tether is aiming to decrease commercial paper backing of USDT to zero. Right now, one of the biggest pieces of FUD in the crypto space is that Tether is going to lose its peg. One of the reasons that that's the case is because they're actually backed partially by commercial paper over in China. And again, as we saw with the Everlast situation over in China's real estate or so, is that if the recession hits really hard and all that stuff goes to zero, then maybe they're not properly defended and maybe it's going to crash and come down. However, all of that was needed to give a little bit of context into the situation. The crypto market right now is stirred up completely. We saw the fear and greed index be at like 8 or so, which is the lowest point in years. We've seen the altcoin market cap, which I don't have open, but believe me, go back to the previous all-time high levels from 2017-18, which is again, is a very low point. And BitBoy right now is going pretty heavy over on Twitter to state that Celsius is looking pretty much like BitConnect. And this is actually one thing I stated earlier, that the way in which Celsius is doing things is looking a lot like a real, literal Ponzi scheme with one final cash out period. But why, I'll explain in just a second. There's also one small little remark I should make, and that's regarding this quote. "You're not going to miss the bottom. You'll know it when you see it. This ain't it, Bitcoin." Ben says actually agree for once. All I'm saying, this is going to be really clear. I keep buying the bottom. Every time I think it's the bottom, it might go down further. And that's because nobody knows exactly when the bottom is going to be in. The best way to combat it though, the best way to win, is to just keep buying. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. And if you want to be really safe with it, do what one of my friends actually suggested to me. He, for example, buys, and that's a lot of money, but hey, he buys $1,000 worth of his quote unquote savings or whatever money he says left or saved up into crypto every single day for as long as his negative market stands. I mean, if that's not something you can afford, again, just relatively put your numbers down. Let's say you can only afford to do $5 each single day, for example. I personally think as well, it's better to do a little buy-in right now because we're at extremely low prices, but then from here on out, just buy in increments every single day rather than putting all your money into one basket right now. All right, to go back to the topic, what Celsius is being accused of right now is not being able to pay back investors. A lot of people put money on there trying to get a return of their money or to basically be involved with DeFi in some way, shape, or form. And the thing which we'll read about in just a second is basically people want to repay their loans. However, you cannot do that with the balance which you have on the platform. You have to deposit new money onto the platform. However, that mostly comes from the fact that crypto prices are plummeting, and so Celsius has a bit of a liquidity issue. Jeff here said, as much as I hate BitBoy flipping and bashing Celsius because I guess he was promoting it like crazy before, I do not know. I've never used Celsius myself. He has a point. I too never expected Celsius to be so heavy into risky DeFi platforms with customers' assets. It's indeed probably the worst example of lack of management oversight by Alex and his executives. Because what is being alleged is that they went, I guess you can compare it to a bank. let's say you deposit money into a bank, it's actually really comparable. If they were to go for really risky investments, then the moment that the market switches around, they're going to lose a lot of money. And so even though they were promising you a 1% return every single year, that's because they claim or aim for a, let's say, 11% return a year to only pay you back a small portion of that, which they do for usually a very nuanced or I guess offset, properly risk managed portfolio, which again is a lot of work, is a really difficult job. And these guys most likely just went for, hey, where can we get the highest return? And funny enough, maybe they even went for something like, like Anchor, for example, where they lost a lot of money before. And now that they went for a lot of these products, they've lost a lot of money because things are going down and they can't pay people back, or at least something of the sort. So to give you guys a quick little rundown, here's the situation right now. Here's Ben Armstrong, BitBoy's explanation for how they're stealing his stuff. How Celsius and Mashinsky are actively scamming people right now. Our account rep at Celsius is this guy. He told us we had enough money in our account to pay off the loan, but we can't use money in our account. We have to send Celsius more money to pay it off. Imagine an insolvent company that you can't withdraw your money from, asking you to send them more money. Literally defies logic. So you may be asking yourself the question, why would they not let you pay off the loan with money/crypto/stables that are already in your account? Great and logical question, glad you asked. It's because they are totally insolvent. The money that shows in your account isn't actually there. That's the only reason we can't use it. It's not there. And these idiots have the audacity to think that we are going to send more? ? This is a pure scam to try to bring in fresh money from users to pay off loans. You see, once Ethereum hits a certain number, we get liquidated and lose all of our collateral against the loan. So they're just trying to take advantage of fear in the market to pad their pockets. Again, to explain this and put it into context, the lower that the crypto prices go, the more that people actually lose their collateral. They basically lose their money, a lot of it basically to Celsius, basically, right? So the lower that it goes, the more money that they're making off of these people because they don't have to pay them back. And they lose the money out, so to speak, unless they deposit more money to basically pay themselves out, but they can't withdraw regardless. So even if they put more money in, they can't take it out. So it's basically double lost from a certain perspective. This is a pure scam, literal Ponzi scheme, to try and bring in fresh money from users to pay off loans, you see. Once Ethereum hits a certain number, we get liquidated and lose all of collateral against the loan, so they're trying to take advantage of fear in the market to pad their pockets, yeah. As they head towards bankruptcy, make no mistake about it. At this point now, I see their game. It's only a matter of time before their biggest position gets liquidated at $16.5 thousand for Bitcoin, and that's coming. They know it. As that gets closer, they are pulling out all the stops. Does this sound familiar? Holding people's money hostage? Well, it should, because it's the most common scam for petty hackers/fishers. Here's how it works. Someone says they're an expert, crypto trader, and they give you a new investor. It's just basically a high-yield investment program or Ponzi scheme. They claim they can give you daily returns on a small investment, so the victim gets tricked into sending the scammer $1,000. Next, scammer has the victim create an account on what is basically a fake trading platform. Website looks like a regular platform, but it's all just code. I mean, any platform is just code, but I understand. There's actually no backing, nothing behind backing the platform, but the website code just shows the victim account in real time. And the victim account grows, but there's no money in there. It's just numbers on a screen set to increase every day on a timer. Sounding familiar? Yeah, of course, this is actually how it works in real as well, but I understand what he's meaning. He's just trying to say it's a Ponzi scheme because even though your account says you've made $1 billion, in reality, you still have your initial investment and nothing more because they're just updating your account with crazy returns, but they don't actually have the money to pay you out unless new investors come in, literal Ponzi scheme, right? After a few months, the victim's account grew significantly from $1 to $100,000, but at $100,000, you can't actually pay yourself out. It says here, but the victim's mind, the money is already ironclad. They already had plans for it, paying off student debt, buying a car, medical bills, all that stuff, maybe even a down payment on a house. This is an important part of the scam because while the victim already has lost, actually has lost only $1,000, it feels like a $100,000 loss. Not a $100,000 loss, but sure. So this is where Celsius twists the knife. You see, the victim is told they can pull out their money anytime by paying an administrative fee of $5,000, which hurts, but remember, there's $100,000 on the line. So the scammer is easily able to get more money from their victims. And then they bleed their victims dry by squeezing fee after fee after fee until the victim finally realizes they've been scammed. The scammers are relentless and will do anything to get more money out of you. Celsius and the guy are the scammers. And today I'm the victim, kicking myself for wondering how I let this get so bad and so far, kicking myself for not seeing the obvious Ponzi right in front of my eyes, lulled in by the facade of the charm of a sociopathic scammer. I guess we all thought Celsius was being responsible and earning returns in safe environments, when in reality they are just DeFi degens who never had any clue what they were doing. This is a very scary threat and it's some very serious allegations. Partially, I'm saying that this is overly negative because we don't know the actual thought process what went behind there. And it could be the same sense as with Luna, where they were just being overly optimistic, right, for something they couldn't do, but not with the intention to be bad. And we should always stay objective in these cases and notice, hey, they made a very big mistake. Well, most likely so because they've become insolvent. But we don't know the actual underlying parts behind it. We don't know a lot of the information which he claims to know. And I guess it will come to light if a lawsuit actually persists and goes through. We'll see it in a couple of months from now. But again, that's a couple of months from now. Maybe all the issues will be fixed at that point. Maybe people will have forgotten. Maybe it will have gotten a lot worse. I guess people right now are even more fearful because of Luna, and also rightfully so. But I guess I'll update you guys as the situation worsens or betters. I just want to get this out to you guys, the fact that there's a lawsuit ongoing most likely. And most likely he's not going to be the only guy, right? Class action lawsuit, there's going to be a lot of people joining in. A lot of people bundling their hands together against Celsius. Fortunately or unfortunately, I guess, depending on how you view it, I did not have any involvement with Celsius whatsoever, so I can't report from the inside out or what my representatives are saying. If it's ever a platform that I'm involved with, I will update you guys to the core for whatever I can do. Right now, though, it's all out of my hands. I can just update from the sidelines with what I'm watching. And all I can say is the situation is not looking good for them. They've lost all their trust in the same sense that Luna has lost it. And I personally would not buy the Celsius token. In reality, I think I might actually look for a big short position on it, unless they save themselves or actually get bought up by Nexo. But for some reason, they're not really looking to go into that part for some reason. I'm not so sure, but I didn't really see any big response to it all. So I guess all I can say about it is we shall see how this continues on over the next couple of days. But it's looking very bad right now, and people are calling it out for the way which it looks like a just plain old Ponzi scheme. So let's see. But this could have some detrimental consequences for the crypto market because they most likely still have $1 billion or so they can dump onto the market to maybe pay others back or something along those lines. We don't know. Maybe they're going to go for a really big exit scam and cash their crypto out as well. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. All I know is that this is not something good. This is not something juicy in any way, shape, or form. And you should be very cautious with the situation. Having said that, guys, to end on a little positive note, if you're a crypto trader, make sure you join my Bybit competition. A link is going to be down below for that. As you guys have most likely a little while ago got cut off there. It's an $8 million competition. Just sign up for the team because, again, if we win, then the entire team wins. We basically split the money. I'm not sure exactly how it works in terms of how the split looks like, but it's worth it to show up because all you need to have is $500 in your account. You don't actually need to spend money to enter or whatnot. So if you're a trader, join the freaking competition.